In this video, we'll take a look at whole number division with an area model. This standard calls for students to extend their work with dividing a multi-digit whole number by a one-digit divisor to dividing by a two-digit divisor. The focus of this standard is to build a conceptual understanding of division with larger numbers. Although the traditional algorithm may be introduced, students aren't expected to master this algorithm until middle school. So let's take a look at how we can use an area model to divide 4,728 by 24. Before we solve with the area model, it will be helpful to estimate so that we can determine if our final quotient is reasonable. When I'm estimating with division, it's helpful to think about the dividend in terms of a friendly number that's kind of related to our divisor. So I'm looking at 24 and kind of thinking about multiples of 24 and looking at 4,728. And I'm thinking, well, that's kind of close to 4,800. And I know that 48 is a multiple of 24. So I can think that if I had 4,800 divided by 24, well, I can think 24 times what would give me 4,800? And I know that would be 24 times 200. So I'm thinking that the answer for 4,728 divided by 24 will be around 200. So now we'll go ahead and get ready to solve this using the area model. First thing I'm going to do is draw a large rectangle. And inside of the rectangle, I'm going to write our dividend, 4,728. And on the outside, I will write our divisor, which is 24. And what we want to think about here is how many times 24 could go into 4,728. So the way I like to think about this is you might want to think, well, 24 times what number would get me close to 4,728? And we really just want to work with friendly numbers like 10, 100, 1,000 when we're doing this. We don't need to get as close as we possibly can with the area model. We have some flexibility there, so we really want to use friendly numbers. So the first thing that comes to mind for me is if I did 24 times 100, I know that would give me 2,400, which I can easily subtract from this amount. So I'm going to go ahead and subtract 2,400, and I'll see that what I have left is 2,328. So I need to continue my division, so I'm going to make a new section here, and I'm going to move over that 2,328. And I'll need to think about what my next partial quotient could be. Well, here I see that if I tried 24 times 100 again, if I tried to make 100 more groups of 24, that would take away 2,400, which is too much. But it's not way too big, so I'm thinking maybe I could try 24 times, actually, what about 24 times 50? I know that 24 times 100 was 2,400, so 24 times 50 would be half of that, or 1,200. So I'll go ahead and subtract that. Okay, and I see that now I have 1,128 left. So I'll go ahead and move that over, 1,128. And now I'm thinking, well, if I tried to do 24 times 50 again, that would give me 1,200, which is just a little bit too big here. So I think I'm going to need to try something like 24 times 40. And that's not a fact that I know right off the top of my head. So I'm just going to come over to this side and just work out 24 times 40. So let me see here. Let's do a quick area model for 24 times 40. Well, I know that 20 times 40 is equal to 800. And I know that 4 times 40 is equal to 160. So I can see that 24 times 40 would give me 960, which I can definitely subtract from 1,128. So my next partial quotient will be 40. So 40 times 24 gives me 960 to subtract. And now I see that I'm left with 168 still. And since that is larger than 24, I will keep dividing. So I'll move 168 over. Now I'm thinking, well, I know that 24 times 2 is 48. And if I doubled that, I would get 96. So I think I could try 24 times 4, which would give me 96. And that also makes sense because I just saw that 24 times 40 gave me 960. And I know that 4 is 10 times smaller than 40. So I would expect that the product of 24 and 4 to be 10 times smaller and just be 96. So I can go ahead and subtract that. And let me get this highlighting off of there so that doesn't distract us. So now I'll subtract 96. And I see that I have 72 left. Well, I know that 24 times 3 gives me 72. So I know if I do 3 times 24, I can take away this last 72 that I have, and I'll be left with no remainder. So now to figure out the quotient, I just need to add all of these partial quotients together that I have right up top here. So 100 plus 50 plus 40 plus 4 plus 3. You might find it helpful to add those over to the side by stacking them vertically, or you could add them horizontally like this, but I can see that this would give me 197. So that lets me know that 4,728 divided by 24 is 197. And when I compare that to my estimated answer, I thought the answer should be around 200, and 197 definitely is close to that. So I know that is a reasonable answer.